this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I made this desktop plaque. It says home is where the heart lives. I used mainly Dollar Tree supplies, so let me show you what those are. Alright, so the first item that I have are these wood hanging decor from the Dollar Tree. They're little arrows, as you can see, they're pointing that way. But I think they would make great little house shapes, so that is what I'm going to use. Now for my base, I'm going to be using this little plaque that goes on a shelf or a desk. This is a leftover from Thanksgiving. They do have different ones at different times of the years, or maybe you can just find something else besides this, maybe a scrap piece of wood. From the Dollar Tree in their Valentine's collection, they have this pack of stickers. I've already used a couple, but I have these that I will use. I'm going to be using these 3 right here. Also from the Dollar Tree, I have a little spool of ribbon. That is your choice what you want to use. This is a 5/8 inch wide ribbon. Now I chose these 3 sheets of scrapbook paper. As you can see here, you can use wrapping paper, tissue paper, any other type of paper if you want to use some fabric, or you don't have to use this at all. You can just use some craft paints. Now I do have some craft paints. I will be using some white and some black. This is just acrylic craft paints. Alright, so here I have these 3 sheets of paper where I did some printing of my own. I put home is where the, and it'll have a heart there, lives. So I chose my own font, and I decided to use a program called Pixlr, P-I-X-L-R. And that is pixlr.com. If you want to go there, you can do photo editing and create things such as this. And then I just printed them out on my home printer. You can use a greeting card if it has something nice in there that's written. You can just cut that out and put that on your little houses if you prefer, or just write it in with a Sharpie. Alright, so to put my little project together, I'm going to be using some Mod Podge and some hot glue. I will also be using my scissors. I've got some painter's blue tape just in case I might need that. Some brushes here. I have a sponge and a bristle brush. A little bit of sandpaper. This is all optional, the items that you use. And I have a little bit of a sponge here to use as well. Alright, so now that I've shown you all these supplies and tools that I'm going to be using, let's get to crafting. Alright, so I have taken the little strings that were on these little plaques and of course the label. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these white, and I'm going to do them on the sides and on the back as well. Don't worry about the little holes. I'm also going to take my little tabletop little plaque here, and I'm going to paint the top part. I really like the design on the sides, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Of course, if you don't have that, you can paint right over it. You can decide to use the same scrapbook paper to cover that, or just paint it a different color. So this is where I'm using my blue tape, my painter's tape, and just placing it on the top edge, just so that when I brush it, I don't get any paint on this pretty little design. So I'll finish it off. I've already done these sides, as you can see, and it is time to paint. And I did remember that I have my hot air gun, so I'm using that to dry. Now I will give this a coat of paint also on the back side. I think I mentioned that. This will need a second paint. I don't think these need a second paint. I'll leave them as is, but I just need to make sure that the wording on here gets covered well enough. And then I'll use my hot air gun to help them dry a little bit faster, and then I'll be back. Alright, so while everything is continuing to dry, I'm going to cut these out, and it doesn't matter how I cut them. If you want to do a little heart shape that fits within the parameter of your little house shape, you can do that. I'm just going to cut around like that, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of time, place my thumb down to make sure that it cuts just where I'm pulling on and it doesn't go inward like that. So just do a little speck at a time. Don't try to pull the whole thing off like that, because you could cut right into your lettering. And I'm just giving it a rough edge, okay? Make sure you look to see where you're going. And that is it. Now I've done the other two, and this is what I have. All right, so this next step, using the paper or fabric, whatever you want to use, but this is going to work with paper, what I'm going to show you. You don't have to do this if you choose. You can go and just paint your little houses 3 different colors if you prefer, or leave them all white as is. All right, so I'm going to turn this around and then just put this as close to the corner up here and then to the side over here, or rather the edges. And I should have mentioned I need a pencil or a pen, something to trace with, and just trace around the shape of your little plaque here. All right, so now I have it here with a pencil all drawn out. And I'm just going to just cut around because I want to save this scrap of paper and I don't want to bend it all over the place, so I'm just trimming that off. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the lettering. I'm going to cut around with my fingers. You don't have to do this. You can just cut it nicely with these scissors if you prefer that look. But I'm just going to just carefully go around the edges. If it's a little big, I won't worry too much about it. If it's a little too small, again, I'm not going to worry about it. But just try to get it as, as close to the size as possible. And of course, it doesn't have to be a straight cut. Some of it can go in, have little jagged edges. That'll be cute. So that is really up to you. Okay, we're almost done here. Coming around this little corner here. Getting my finger in there, making sure that I don't cut off all that little roof top edge there. Okay, so that is almost done. I have my shape here, and I've done the other 2, so now I have the 3. All right, so now I'm just going to pour a little bit of Mod Podge and then brush it across. A little bit extra here. You can use some white glue, just water it down a little bit. Anything that'll dry clear. Okay, so there we go. And I'll get the first paper. Smooth it out, make sure there's no little bubbles. And don't worry, again, like I said, if it's too big, don't worry about it. We are going to go on to the next one, but I'll make sure this little corner is glued down. Okay, just making sure that everything is glued down. And as you can see, that covers up those little holes that are on the side of my little houses here, or the arrows. What you can do if you don't want to have those holes because you're not putting any paper, you don't want them to show, you can use a little bit of wood putty in there, push it in there, let it dry, sand it off, and then paint. Okay, so I'm going to do the other 2 the same way that I did this. Again, this one already has a nice little design that I'm going to keep, but if that wasn't there, I can go ahead and cut a strip of paper or fabric, whatever I want to use. Add some Mod Podge, stick it on there, and then go over it again to seal it. Okay, but before I seal it, I'm going to do a little step, so let me go ahead and do the other 2, and I'll be back. Alright, so once your paper is dry on here, this is not quite dry, but I just wanted to show you real quick. I've already done this one, so I'll do this. Anywhere where you have like little bits of paper that are coming off like that, that are over the edge, obviously you didn't cut it, far enough. And this is why I said if it comes out a little bit big, that's fine, because we're going to take the sandpaper now, and we are going to just go along the edges and sand that down, and that takes off those little pieces of paper that are a little too big, that are, going beyond the edge. Go like that, and it comes off. There goes a piece of paper. Now, if you want to further distress it, you can go up over the top edge here and distress the edge of the paper a little bit more. some more paper that's overlapping outward too much. Okay, so I have this one done. I've got this one done, so all I need to do is this one, and then I'll be back. And the next step again is optional as well, so let's get to it. Alright, so like I said, this next step is completely optional, and of course you don't have to use a black paint for this. You can use any other color that you wish to use. Also, you can use a stamping pad to do this little trick. Well, it's not really a trick, it's just a little effect. So I've got a little sponge here. It's not even wet, it's a dry sponge, and I've got some black paint in my little bowl here. So I've just dipped it and tried to remove, any excess paint. I can also blot it on a napkin down here. And then I'll just take this and then just start kind of smearing it on the edges. You can wipe it or pounce it, however you want to do it. You can do this with a dry brush as well. And I'm just pouncing it on there, as you can see here. Rubbing it in some spots, just like that. Now I've gone ahead and on the top part, which is, the little roof, I've gone in a little bit further. Again, this is your choice, so you can see what it looks like with this and without. I've also done it to the little plaque here. I've gone on the little edges all the way around. The same on the sides and on the back. Alright, so once these are all dry, I can go ahead and put my letters. So I want home is where the lives. And I kind of want lives like a little bit of an angle like that. Just like so. Just place it wherever you want. If you feel like, okay, there's a little too much white, then just trim off some, which I'm going to do right here on this one. See, I think that looks good. I want to make sure that it's within there. All right, so to get them to stick on, I am going to drop some Mod Podge and just spread it out. All right, right about there. And then I'm going to want to cover it with more Mod Podge on top. And I want to do the whole thing, just to make sure that the other paper is also sealed on. Alright, so I'm going to repeat that with the other two pieces of paper. This one's going to be up high because I want a little heart right there. So I'm just going to let these dry now. Alright, so now I want to glue these to my plaque, and I kind of want to put these first one and this last one a little bit further back, and then do this middle one a bit more forward. Of course, you can do them one here, one in the middle, and then the third one a little further back. However you want to do it. But I'm going to do, like I said, this first one and the last one towards the back. So I'm going to put some glue on the bottom edge here. And you can use some E6000 as well. Get it on there, or some super glue to get that glued on really well. And then I'll just hold it. If for some reason it wants to topple over, I can take like a little bead or something, or a little piece of styrofoam, and put it back here to kind of hold it up, or even a little piece of popsicle stick. But I think it's doing well for now. Okay, now let's do the other. Alright, so now the second one here, getting some glue on it. About the same distance as the other one. Try to get it, there we go. And now this one here goes in the front between the other two. Okay, and I'm just going to let those dry, and I will be back. All right, for this next step, I want to make some tiny little bows. This is completely optional. Once I put them on there, you can decide if that is something that, you know, you like, if you like the look of it. So I'm just going to start off with the end of my ribbon here, have a little tail, and then just do a regular little bow, just a little handmade bow like that. Pull at the little loops, and then tighten and pull till I get it the right size that I want. And I think that's good, so I'll just trim this off. And then of course I'll trim the other side as well. So I have some nice little angled cuts there, and here I've got 3 that I've already done. So there we go. Alright, so I showed you these stickers at the very beginning, and I said that I was going to be using these. I was thinking somehow I was going to put a heart on each of the houses, but then I remembered that I did make out that print, and where I have I want a heart. Instead of printing out the word heart, I decided that I would use one of these. So I'm going to be using this large red one. I do like this one a lot, but I have looked at the paper that I have on the little center house, and this one blends in way too much. So I'm going to go ahead and use the red one. Of course, you can paint them whatever color you want. If you don't want it red, if you want it for the whole year, you know, you want it some other color, and it's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to take my little heart. It does have a little sticky little foam sticker on the back there where you can put it onto something. That's just not going to be enough to keep it on here, so I am going to put some hot glue, and I am going to keep that little sticker on there because it'll give it a little bit of dimension. So now I just got to look at this, place my heart right where I want it. See, that home is where the heart lives. All right, now you can take these little bows, these that I made. You can make some if you want. You could just do one and put it right on that little heart, or maybe put one on top of each little house. So how does that look? That looks super cute, you guys, but I'm kind of changing my mind, and I'm deciding that I kind of just want one right on the heart. So what do you guys think? On each one? Or just in the heart? I think I'm just going to do it just in the heart and save the other 2 little bows for another little project. There we go. All right, everyone, I have completed my little desktop plaque. It is home is where the heart lives. Look at that. And I made it with mostly Dollar Tree items and some little leftover items that I had here at home. So I think it came out really cute. I really love it. I'm glad that I chose to just put the little bow on the little heart rather than on top of each house. I feel like it maybe that would make it feel much more Christmassy even, but this is nice because even though it's kind of made for Valentine's Day, it could be out for the rest of the season, for, you know, spring and summer if I wanted. Now you could just decide to do this in a totally different theme of colors and have this all year long out in your home. It's just a cute little idea to use these little arrow plaques as little houses rather than arrows. So I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a nice comment down below and let me know what you think of my little desktop plaque. Are you going to be making it? Is this something similar to something you've already made? Now, if you follow my Trisha's Creations on Facebook, you can post photos of your projects on there or share some recipes if you'd like to do so with everyone else. And that would be really nice so we can have a little community built up there. All right, everyone, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that logo there, my Trisha's Creations or Trisha Texas Lady, or you can hit the subscribe button, that red button down below, and then the little bell will pop up, and you can hit that as well, and that'll notify you of when I upload a video. And I try to do that at least twice a week. So there you go, everyone. Don't forget to spread the love, be kind and respectful towards each other, and as always, enjoy.